Hello there, and good evening, and welcome to the another edition of the Championship Review. I'm Carl, your host, as usual. I'm glad I'm back after due to my work, being away due to work commitments. We'll talk about all the games from game week this past week, including Friday night's game between West Brom against Sheffield United. Also the top, Coventry City, they were at home to Bristol City, and also the game on the weekend will be Leicester City against Ipswich Town. We'll discuss all the goals on all the other games as well too, including Wrexham against Watford. Also, the playoff chasers, Millwall against Hull City as well. So, join as usual. We got my two guests as well. Good evening to Annie. Good evening to Stefan and Michael. Actually, no Annie tonight.
I was going to say, you're confusing Annie and Stefan there.
I know. Sorry about that. Listen, Annie, but good evening to you both. How you guys doing?
Not bad at all. Yeah.
No, I'm not doing too badly. I can't think what might have happened today, though. Nah, I don't think it was a game on at the Stadium of Light at all. Nah.
Listen, we will save that for the 20. We'll get your review later this week. We will do the 20. So
yeah.
I'll
try and keep. Let's just say I'll try and keep my balanced hat on. But yeah, I would be lying if I said I was not milking this and enjoying it. But we'll wait and see. Apparently, an easy 6 points for the Geordies, though. So we'll see about that one.
Well, actually, since we got a guest on who's just come on, and not surprised, Ant has joined me, I think we should kind of start off with at the game at the King Power Stadium between the two relegated clubs, Leicester and Ipswich Town. Since Ant has just started to go off on one, so yeah, let's get going with that then, and let's talk about what a goal from Abdul Fatah, scoring from his own goal no half as Leicester beat Ipswich 3-1 yesterday. So goals from Bobby Decover Reed and Jordan and Ayew for Leicester, and Kajus only got the consolation in the 71st minute. But Michael, that was a huge win that Leicester needed, especially the disappointing draw they had against Bristol City, where they should have won in the midweek. But they got the 3 points, and that's probably the last game now till after Christmas. So,
well, I was going to say, to be fair, actually, it's a very big win because Ipswich have obviously been, out of all the parachute teams, they've been the one that have at least come close to performing to the level that I think most of us would have expected. Obviously with Leicester, and I'm sure Ant will end up. Saying. Sorry, I was reading Doug's comment. I did love that, but you can guess why. But no, to not make it about Sunderland too much. I think with Leicester, you have to give them credit for that. It's a really good win. Obviously, 2-0 up at Bristol City on Wednesday night, I think it was, and for them not to win, obviously, of course, that's really poor from their perspective. Let's just say Ant and Annie in the group chat on that me and Carl are in was actually quite amusing during that game because it basically felt like it was El Spastico or something, in that regard. And I would say sorry if I offended Stefan, but it looks like he found that funny.
No.
If it helps, I'm autistic and I call myself the S word, so we'll go with it. But no, joking aside, well, you know what, you got to laugh. Got to have a laugh in life, really. The world's crap.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very depressing, actually. But if you look at Leicester, I mean, it was a great. First of all, I mean, Fatah.
What a goal!
What, he's got no right to be scoring in his half from that distance. And look, obviously shots like that are kind of like taken from long distance. They're ones that are they're hopeful, aren't they? They're hopeful hits. You don't expect them to go in, but no, fair play to Leicester. I mean, obviously there was pressure building. I mean, Ant will be able to tell me there, but there was a little bit of skepticism and pressure building slightly on Cifuentes, I think. So that was massive. That was needed, and again, it's a good win. And as for Ipswich, I mean. Look, I mean, I think was it Bobby Reed? I think his goal was pretty good from what I can remember as well. Actually.
Yeah, it was.
It's just sort of what's what I'm looking for. It's overshadowed by Fatahou's fantastic strike. So great for Leicester. For Ipswich, I mean, to be fair, I don't think it's a bad week for them. They've beaten Coventry, they've beaten Stoke, two of the teams who were up there. And then obviously have lost away out of year one parachute team. And I'm pretty sure, Anne can tell me this, but I'm pretty sure Leicester always beat Ipswich at home. They beat them last, or Ipswich don't win at Leicester. They drew 1-1, I believe, the year Leicester won the league and Ipswich got second.
Yeah.
Leicester beat them 2-0, I think, at the end of last season.
Yes,
all down.
It was like I think it was like Jimmy Vardy's last game.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then they've ended up winning here. So yeah, I don't think it's really that bad for Ipswich, really. Because they'd beaten Coventry and beaten Stoke. I think if you'd offered Ipswich fans 6 points out of 9 this week, they probably would have taken it. But for Leicester, what we need to start seeing, and I think Ant will probably agree with this, we need to stop seeing Leicester as individuals disguised as a team, if you know what I mean. We need to start seeing more fluid patterns of play. And really, the squad that Leicester have got should be in the playoffs at a minimum, in my opinion. So it's just a matter of whether they play like it. But obviously, the point deduction thing, we still don't know. Somehow still don't know what's going to happen with that. So...
Yeah, we know. We see
sorry.
Yeah.
If you can see me laughing, guys, just because Ant has decided to conveniently come up on the chat. Ipswich got shown absolutely levels. You can F off home in your tractor.
Home in your tractor, yeah.
Ant-Man, for God's sake.
This is...
love how he doesn't pull punches, to be fair.
Look, before we go, Ant, you said you're always going to come on. The other week you said to us in the group chat you were going to come on and join us. It was that you didn't come on stream. You came on you didn't come in the chat. So are you gonna come on and actually show your frustrations or whatever? Because you can't, because you say you have a social life and you claim you talk so shy about your team and you're on loan with Michael's team to Michael's team. So what do you want to do?
Do you know the what is it? So, and when he's got a social life and pretends to be a proud Mackem when Leicester are doing really terribly, and then when they win, he shows up. What's the Eddie Hearn clip? Ooh, how convenient!
Yeah,
yeah, Ant's a great lad. I love him a bit, but my God, I'm actually happy with Martin.
For now,
this
week, then 1 minute you like, nah, I hate you.
Look, well, let's just wait and see. I mean, but like I said, the sad thing is, I think Ant would probably agree with me. I'm just going to get the championship table just to make sure I've got this right.
He's an adopted Mackem, that's what he's saying now. So,
oh my God, see, there he goes. Fair play, though. I do love that. Put it this way, and Ant will agree with me here. He says Leicester have been terrible, to put it bluntly. He would say it in a more blunt way than that. But Leicester haven't been very good, yet they're 3 points off sixth. That's how inconsistent the league is this year.
Yeah.
So, we'll wait and see. But no, for you got to take it away from. Don't take it away from Leicester. It's a great win against a fellow Year One parachute team. It's going to be one of their hardest home games this season, and they've made Ipswich look quite poor. Like I said, for Ipswich, not bad for them, but the story belongs to Leicester really, and especially Fatawu.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Stefan, Ipswich, losing unfortunately yesterday, and like I said, they don't have a good run at King Power Stage. Is there any concerns for them going into the festive period as well, especially next weekend? They got Sheffield Wednesday at home, which should be a winnable game, but coming up to Christmas, they have really got Millwall on Boxing Day, and then they're at home, they're away at home again to Coventry on Monday the 29th. It's a huge couple of games they have coming up.
Yes. I mean, I would agree with Michael and everything he said there about the game yesterday. But the one thing that stood out for me when I was watching the highlights of practically most of the championship games was the away defences yesterday. Ipswich's defence at times was calamitous.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly for the Jordan Ayew goal, the third goal, that was so preventable if you just defended it properly. So I say, yeah, it's good that we've taken 6 points out of 9. They'd be happy with that. But I think going forward for the next set of games, especially in this busy period, we need to try and shore up their defence a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, they're probably playing like how we expected now, being the Patrick team coming down from the Premier League. We're hovering round about the top 6 now, but we definitely need to fix not their entire defence, it's just that little bit. And if you fix that little bit, you'll be on to a good thing over Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, absolutely as well. They got some huge games coming up as well, especially for the playoffs as well. Let's go to another team that is still in the top 2. It's Middlesbrough. They made it 4 wins for Fortnite and new head coach Kim Hellberg after they cruised past QPR 3-1 yesterday. Tommy Conway getting his first goal since August as well. And I have to say, Stefan, Kim Hellberg has not changed as much since he took over from Edwards. And again, 4 wins from 4, and they're still trying to cling on where Coventry is at the moment in the top 2 battle.
Yeah, for me, he's not changed very much at all, Kim Hellberg. But the players seem to be buying straight into his philosophy. It's not a like for like replacement, of course, but it's kind of similar management styles. he's young, so he gets the philosophy of the club pretty much straight away. The players have certainly bought into his style of play, and it paid dividends yesterday with two, I think, was it 2 goals or 1 goal from Morgan Whittaker, which was
One goal from Morgan, yeah.
absolutely fantastic. And of course, Scotland's Tommy Conway finally breaking his goal hoodoo since October, I think it was.
Probably since August is first. It's
Or August.
summer, yeah, since the start of the season, actually.
I mean, to be honest, he could have scored 2 yesterday. I don't know how he scored. I don't know how he didn't score, rather. The first chance when he was going through, he went round the keeper. I don't know how he didn't score that.
Well, listen, it was a good defense from
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good defense from QPR and stuff. And like I said, good to see Conway getting his first goal
Oh, yeah.
since 30th of August. And it's huge for him because, I know it's been a long drought for him, but hopefully it gives him the confidence for the festive period to bang in more goals.
Well, if he does bang in more goals, I could maybe see him on that plane as a reserve backup player in the summer next year.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. Michael, it's QPR's second loss in 6 games, which are now dropped down to 9th. But like I said, they've been on a good run, QPR. But like I said, it's not a bit of a setback. But but QPR could take nothing away, especially from a very, very energetic Middlesbrough side.
Oh, of course. I mean, look, there's plenty of teams that have gone to the Riverside and lost. Like, I think if you look at Ipswich, the team that we all touted as the best team in the league at the start of the season, on paper anyway, they went and lost at Middlesbrough. So, Middlesbrough is a very hard place to go. And I think I think QPR from Julian Stefan, I don't think will take too much disheartening from that. I think, there'll be plenty of other teams that lose at Middlesbrough. What I was going to mention was the fact that it's quite weird. Could Kim Hellberg prove to be an upgrade on Rob Edwards, which is, I mean, I'm not going to ask it full-heartedly yet because it's still very early in his tenure. But I mean, what is that? 3 straight wins, I think.
4 straight wins.
Yeah, so I think, we know why Ant has put Borough to win the league. 3 guesses as to why, because given who's above them. But you've got to be fair. And by the way, I watched Middlesbrough at Hull, and the opening 45 minutes, they were brilliant. They were really, really good. And by the way, that's a Hull team that, as everyone knows, is very capable on its day of causing a lot of upsets in this division.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think it'll be, whether you count Borough as a North East team, I don't know, but it would be quite good for Middlesbrough to see fans to see them get back to the Premier League. But, and again, like we said, and I think Carl agreed with me, and I'm sure Stefan will agree as well, given the state of the parachute teams this year, this is the widest and almost open the Championship's been. So I think it's Middlesbrough's chance to do it. But for QPR, no, I don't think it'll be too much of a setback.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I agree with that one as well.
I mean, I still think it's going to be, and this is controversial, but Super Frank Sky Blues number 1 and Middlesbrough number 2. And then it's going to be a fight for that
I
playoff.
don't say that's controversial. I think that's it could happen. I still have my questions on whether Middlesbrough will finish above Ipswich, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened now. Put it that way. And that's a good compliment to Borough, I think.
Yeah, especially with the good run that they have.
And by the way, just to add, sorry to interrupt you, Carl, but just to add you, the goal difference is literally separated by 2 goals. Ipswich's got a plus 13 goal difference, Borough plus 11. And if I'm looking at the goal scoring stats, it's quite neck and neck there as well. They've conceded the same amount of goals, and Ipswich have only scored 2 more. So I think Borough have done really well when you consider the forward line Ipswich have got for this division. George Hurst, Jaden Philogene, Jack Clark, Sammy Smodix, just to name off the top of my head. Like, I think Borough have done pretty damn well, to be honest.
Yeah, they have. They've proved them pretty damn well, especially in a team like Ipswich have got that strike the forward line. That's what Borough has completely. Yeah, I would agree with that one. Let's move on to one of the teams that was battling for the playoffs and a good win for Hull City at Millwall, winning 3-1. Kyle George has got his first brace for the first time in over 2 years as well. And then Burnley got the 80th late goal for Hull City. Just to say, guys, I'll come to you, Michael. Aziz, the red card, he knew what, especially when the sending off as well, before, he didn't need to react after he got fouled. on from Carl Joseph, and yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you've already won the free kick, it's quite silly, really, considering that you've then. And bear in mind, I think at that point, okay, it was still 2-0, but Millwall went on to score a few minutes later, didn't they? While you're still in the game, anything can happen. Just once you go down to 10 men, it just makes it a lot harder to do it. I think if you're asking Hull fans, I don't think they'll care that much, because obviously, look, I mean, for Hull, they probably would have made more nervy than they think it should have been when you're up against 10 men. But for Aziz, look, he's obviously cost Millwall there. But again, like I said earlier, Hull are capable of beating anyone and any given day in this division, and it shows how mental this division is. And you look at it, Kyle Joseph and Ollie McBurney up front for them, Liam Miller as well, who got an assist here as well, Louis Coyle as well. It's not bad. Maybe I underestimated what the quality Hull actually have in their squad, because I think this is a fantastic win. They're going to Millwall away and I think Millwall was starting to slowly creep up their stereotypical reputation of being a hard place to go. Because at the start of the season, it was Millwall, a bit like Norwich actually, before Liam Manning did Liam Manning things. But at the start of the season, it was more Norwich and like Norwich, Millwall can win away, but not at home. And then gradually, Millwall started to get better and better. So yeah, I think you've got to give Hull massive credit, and this is the sort of results that can give Hull belief that they can get into push for the playoffs. Obviously, the caveat is it's still very tight. I mean, I'm looking from Preston in third down to say Bristol City in 11th. It's 5 points separating 9 teams, I think it is. But look, this is the type of result. If Hull don't get confidence from this type of result, then how are they going to get confidence from it? Fair play to them for it.
Yeah, fair play to it. And also, Stefan, as well, with, Millwall, Millwall beat you guys early in the midweek as well after the loss as well last weekend. That was a confidence boost they needed to have, especially against Millwall side, who was unbeaten before this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Hull and Millwall are two teams that have really surprised me this season, because in seasons gone by, you would think of Hull and Millwall being maybe mid-table to sort of bottom half of the championship. And this season, because it's so open, teams like Hull, Millwall, Preston are really surprising me. Going forward, and we push up the table under William Rosenior has just been transformative for Hull. And it would not surprise me if they were in the big game on that bank holiday Monday at the end of the season, the regular season. It would not surprise me one jot if they were in the playoff final. Either one of those 3 teams, it would not surprise me.
No, it will not be surprised at all as well. Let's go to the Kassam stage, and despite Paul Hecker is now taking a free match touchline ban, it was actually a decent win from Preston to win at Oxford 2-1. Goals, from Daniel Jebson, as well as also, he scored early in the midweek as well. Jordan Story scored, headed it in the first half, and then beat the Keys Mecca, who scored in consolation for Oxford. And again, Stefan, a good result as well. I'll let Michael come in soon as well for Preston, because despite Heckenbach is down and it started his, begins his touchline ban, they were actually tough to beat on the road. They have been tough to beat on the road, winning 4 of the last 8 games away from Deepdale this season.
I mean, knowing of Paul Higginbottom and his management style from his stint up in Scotland with us, Paul Higginbottom teams are very, very hard to beat. Yes, up here, he didn't get rid of the green, but most certainly down south with Preston and Sheffield United as well to an extent, he makes teams like that very, very hard to beat. And I kind of fear for Oxford under Gary Rowett. I think his time's going to be coming. His life support's going to be ending quite soon. That's just my opinion, of course. But I think Preston North End are going to kick on from this. They're going to have a good festive and New Year period, and we'll see what the January transfer window brings for them, because it'll be very interesting to see in which areas of the pitch they strengthen, because they're a good team already. So
Yeah,
where,
absolutely as well.
where do you strengthen?
That's a good question. So, Michael, coming to you, Oxford have now dropped 12 points from the ruining position this season. Do you see that Gary Wright is on life support at the moment?
I find it very interesting to comment on this. To me, Gary Rowett is the main reason that I think Oxford have a chance of staying up. But I think at some point you've just got to look at the fact they don't, and it's not Oxford's fault. They just don't have the resources, I guess, compared to a lot of other teams in this division. And maybe it makes you think Gary Rowett did excellently to keep them up last season. Although I did think he would keep them up. I think a lot of it is Oxford are just conceding poor goals as well. I think they need to start grinding games out and start getting like more 0-0s, and so say games where they lose, they turn into draws, and then obviously I know it's a cliche, turn losses into draws into wins, stuff like that. But I mean, but like I said, I think you've just got to. Yeah, I can see where Stefan's coming from. I don't necessarily know. I mean, I'm just looking here on the highlights. I think the first goal Preston scored, it's really poor. It's a ball coming in through the box. It's a free header at the back post, I think, and then it's just like really, really scrappy. So, and these are the type of things that, like Gary Rowett's peak last season, Oxford were getting on the end of these and keeping them out. So, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think I wouldn't necessarily say that Gary Rowett's 10 years on life support as in getting sacked, but I wouldn't be surprised if he walked away at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, by after January, I think January is going to be the deciding factor for me. And I think Oxford, are going to have to utilise the loan market really, really well if the budget's not very high. And as for Preston, though, I mean, you've got to beat what's in front of you, of course, and those are the type of games Preston will look at and say they need to be winning. It's actually a pretty good finish from Oxford, to be fair. No, I've just seen it back, but I think, like Stefan said, I think what Paul Heckingbottom's done at Preston really well is he has made them hard to beat. And there has been games where they've been poor. I watched them against Blackburn a few weeks ago, and I thought they were they were beaten by the better side. But I mean, fair play. What is it? 35 points Preston have got now.
Yeah.
So and again, they continue to make me look like a mug because I said they would go down at the start of the season.
Same year as well.
So fair play, Heckingbottom. And I've got a lot of time for him as a bloke. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
fair play to him.
I know he's making us look like mugs now, Michael, because I predicted them to go down this season as well.
And by the way, to be fair, so Hull, because I said for Hull to go down as well.
I know, same year.
So guys, long story short, do not listen to Michael Bowers when it comes to Championship.
And even to Carl Edwards Levy as well.
Don't listen to either of us.
Yeah,
you clearly don't know.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Yeah,
outstanding effort. But like I said, Oxford, wait and see what happens with January. But for Preston, I mean, look. I don't think Preston fans really expect to finish in the top two, really. But, I mean, come on. Third in the league, regardless of what you can say about the XG or the underlying data or whatever it is. Preston will look at that and say third, and they should enjoy it.
Absolutely as well. They should enjoy it as well. Right, let's go to the St Andrews at Night Park, and it was Tyrese Campbell came off the road to get his first goal from Charlton after they got a firing point at Bury City. Christoph Kleider, scored in the first, for the first goal after hitting the wood twice through Damari Gray, and then trying to serve plenty of credit up the tempo after Campbell got the equaliser in the 67th minute. And Michael, was this a fair draw and also a good valuable point for Charlton after their last couple of weeks? That it's been tough for them with their last couple of games been on a very, very 5-game losing run.
Do you know what? I think first and foremost, I think you both echo the sentiment here. Rest in peace to, was it Norman Barker? I think was his name.
Yeah,
Charlton fan who tragically passed away. When they were going to play Portsmouth, I think it was a week ago. Obviously, I think we all agree. No fan should go to a game and not come home. So rest in peace to his family and friends. And I love the tribute both sets of players did before the game. That was really, really good of them to see. As for the match itself, I think if you're Birmingham, that's a game you need to be winning if you want them to be pushing towards the sort of top 6 of the playoffs. But because of how tight the league is, I think they'll still be in there. I mean, I really rate Kyogo for the championship. I think Jay Stansfield, I've always felt this idea that Jay Stansfield is just a penalty merchant. I disagree with that. I don't think it's very fair. I think then you've got Patrick Roberts on loan from Sunderland. Just looking back at their goal, actually, it's a really good header. But I think there's no doubt who will view that as the better point, Charlton, because they've been on a pretty bad run recently, and they've been conceding quite a few goals in quite a lot of the games as well. It's, you think back to Southampton getting comfortably, comprehensively beaten. They'd got comfortably beaten at Stoke. Okay. Caveat to that, to be fair, is Stoke are near the top of the division, and Southampton year one parachute team, absolutely. But I think what was important for Charlton was just to stop the rot, stop the losing run, stop having defeat, and everything else. So just you've just got to stop the rot, and give yourself something to build from again. And I think, like I've said, ultimately with Charlton, what I think will help them is their home form. So, we'll wait and see. But yeah, for Charlton at St Andrews, bear in mind, which isn't the easiest place to go, I think it's a really, really good point, actually. So, yeah, I think Birmingham will be disappointed, absolutely, but good point for Charlton.
Yeah, so as well, especially Birmingham, have lost 2 against QPR Southampton before this this weekend's game, and like I said, it's good to see. And again, like I said, Stefan, pretty much Birmingham have dropped 6 points from a win position. Compared to what points they've gained for Charlton, have got 2. And does Chris Davis need to realise they've got to find a good form coming up to Christmas now?
Yes, he does. Because you think with all the millions that have been invested into Birmingham City with the new ownership and headed up by the Americans.
Tom Brady, the NFL, as well.
You think with all that money getting pumped into the club, you should be seeing results on the pitch. But yesterday it was definitely a case of 2 points dropped for Birmingham and a great point for Charlton Athletic. I'm in full agreement with Michael with what he said. I like Nathan Jones as a manager for Charlton. He's doing really well at Charlton. I think Charlton could be a surprise come into the season for the top 6. But we'll just have to wait and see. But it was definitely 2 points dropped for Birmingham City.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 points really dropped for the Blues as well. We've got least bottom with about 5 games to go because of Sheffield Wednesday not playing Derby County until tomorrow night. So we're only discussing the 11 games that we have up from Saturday and Friday. Let's go to Friday night's game. West Brom beat Sheffield United 2-0. So what a goal from Carlin Grant, and also Adrian Bego took his goals to 8 goals this season, and really ended the Sheffield United 6-game unbeaten run. And Stefan, it looks like it was a needed win for Ryan Mason and the Baggies. And did they deserve that win?
Yes, they thoroughly deserved that win.
I
thought the goal from Carlin Grant was an absolute screamer. It could actually burst the net if the net wasn't clipped on properly. It would have burst that. And I think it's definitely eased the pressure on Ryan Mason as well as manager. It's eased the pressure on Ryan. I just hope now that West Brom can kick on from this and get a wee run going. And with how tight the league is, if they get a run of 2, 3, 4 games where they don't lose and they pick up points, they can be right back in the hunt to where we want to be.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And Michael, disappointed end to Sheffield United 6-game unbeaten run. It's like I said, that was, it was looked like Baggies deserved that win, and Sheffield United had got no way to capitalise on Friday night, could they?
No, not really. I mean, I think to be fair, the first half, I would say the game was reasonably even. If anything, I think Sheffield United had slightly the better of it. But the second half, West Brom battered them. There's no doubt in my mind. West Brom, I agree with Stefan. I think over the course of the game, West Brom did deserve to win. And to be honest, I think when you look at West Brom, I would say you could argue that they've been underperforming a bit under Ryan Mason. I think there's been, and obviously I know it's his first proper full head coach job. So it's going to take a while for ideology to set in and methods and everything else. So that is going to take a while. I think obviously West Brom have got the players to challenge for the playoffs. But again, they're only, like Stefan said, I think if you can build a good solid run with how open this division is, there's no reason why you can't make a push for it. But I just want to quickly touch on Carlin Grant's goal. I love goals like that when the shots are strike with venom, but they go in off the bar. It makes them look so much better. But Hegebo, of course, took his goal well. I think for Sheffield United, the weird thing is, I wouldn't rule out Sheffield United finishing in the playoffs either, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have to maintain some consistency, but we've all kind of said repeatedly, like I said, I'm taking out my emotions about Chris Wilder.
I think we all do,
at the end, yeah, that's why I'm trying to be objective. Yeah, to be fair, but we have said constantly that Sheffield United squad was a disgrace that they were anywhere near where they were. That was just utterly ridiculous. So as far as I'm concerned, I would they finish in the playoffs? 9 points can be overturned with plenty of games to go. Stranger things have happened. Not to be related to the Netflix TV series, by the way, but yeah, stranger things have happened. I actually just recently got into that. To be fair,
I need to watch because I've been a huge Stranger Things fan, so I need to get to watch the 50 because it's been 3 years since I've been watching the season 4.
Yeah, that was when season 4 came out. I think I've watched the first 2 seasons. I only got into it recently. I think it was the day after we drew against Arsenal. It was that sort of weekend. Around then, I started watching the first 2 seasons. So it was like about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I think I said, not to make it too much about Stranger Things, but I remember I was saying to my auntie and my cousin, I was like, well, okay, let's see how good the hype is. And then after about 3 episodes, I was hooked.
I told you. I said this is what happened. That's why I had, okay, because even I got my ringtone. I've got Strange Things as one of my ringtones. So yeah,
fair enough. No, it's popular. So I need to watch seasons 3, 4, and then I'm going to wait until the last few episodes of season 5 come out. Then I might binge the whole thing.
Yeah, you should. You might as well do.
But they're really good. They're really good. Anyway, back to the point. I don't know how I've ended up talking about Stranger Things for a minute, but no. But look, but weirder things or stranger things again have happened. Sheffield United, I think, have the squad to push for the top 6. I think if they can sort out the Vinny Souza-shaped hole, shall we say, then I think there's every chance they could do it. But easier said than done, of course. But yeah, I wouldn't lose too much sleep if I was Sheffield United losing away at West Brom. It is a difficult place to go. And fair play to West Brom, though, they did deserve to win.
Yeah, it is a difficult place to go to the Hawthorns. It really is. And a really good win for West Brom and also for Ryan Mason as well. Let's move on to the controversial game, probably goal at the Carrow Road, where Javon McCarthy's controversial 63rd minute was stopped in form of Southampton in their tracks after giving Norwich a huge win, 2-1 in the relegation fight. What a goal from Ryan Manning as well before McCarthy. Yeah,
super.
It's super. But let's talk about the controversial decision. Michael, do you look like there was, McCormack appeared to strike his hand on his way?
Yeah,
Do you think that should be disallowed?
I can probably. I think probably in today's day and age it should have been. And I can somebody out there. No, I can completely understand from Southampton's point of view why they would be fuming at that, but I've said constantly that I think the officials in this league are really poor. But not to get into a rant too much there. What I would say on another note, to be fair, we've got to mention, is it Vladanovic? How's he pronounced?
Yeah.
Saved a penalty in the first half from Adam Armstrong. So, and that's no mean feat. Armstrong's one of the best strikers in the championship. Kovacevic, that's it. I don't know why
I thought so as well too, yeah.
I'm terrible pronouncing names. I think Carl said he has dyslexia, if I'm right. So even so, he'll probably put me to shame and just sound.
I have put you to shame in that way.
Yeah, he puts me to shame when pronouncing names. I'm terrible. But Kovacevic, yeah, very crucial that. And actually I've got to mention he's a really good keeper for Norwich. Actually, I think there's been the points they have won. I think a lot of them have been down to him. But in this particular game, yeah, I can understand the controversy around the goal that was allowed to stand. But I think you've got to say, and even in the first half, because I did watch the first half of this, I think it was relatively even. I think Southampton was shown better quality, but as a year one parachute team, you expect it. But fair play to Norwich. And by the way, they also took a point away at Sheffield United in midweek. So I think in their situation, I think Philippe Clement has just got to slowly start building a good run together. And I still personally struggle to see Norwich going down. I think Norwich will have enough over the season to stop up. But again, as we've said before, and Carl, we've talked about this loads of times, with Ben Napper, it looks like he might have got the right, if this continues, he might have got the right head coach appointment, but there's still work to be done for Norwich because even if Norwich stay up, which I think they will, it's still not been a successful season because they should have been aiming for higher than this. But as far as this particular game is concerned, for absolutely amazing win for them.
Absolutely. Stefan, as well, for Southampton, it was a disappointed the way they lost the game, But as I said, could Southampton done more to try to get a win at Carrow Road yesterday?
Yes. And I thought because we've had such a new manager bounce with the permanent appointment of a new manager, that I thought we would have continued on in the vein that we have been for the last couple of weeks. But it just goes to show you go to Carrow Road under a Philip Clement Norwich team. They've been difficult to beat in the last couple of weeks. He's finally found a club, I think, where he can assert his style and not have the fans on his back right away, if you get my drift, Carl.
Yeah.
He's able to give the players that freedom to play, but all I can say is if you're of a knowledge persuasion watching this podcast, you're glad there's no VAR in the Championship, because if there was VAR, that second goal was not a goal. That would have been disallowed completely on a VAR decision.
Yeah, absolutely as well.
What do you guys think, just on that subject, what do you guys think about the potential discussion about bringing VAR into the Championship?
Would I welcome it? In some instances, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that part.
But in other instances, no.
I just think, in a way, if you see how the Scottish Premiership is doing it, theirs is more a VAA light. So it's a lighter version of VAR where they do, not like the full creme de la creme like the Premier League and all the European leagues has. It's the thing is with that, because you got 24 teams in the Championship compared to like 12 with mine and Stefan's team. In a way, that's the reason why they made the VAR light, because of the number of the teams that we have. And I think that's part of the reason why, if this was like a 16, 18 league format, I think there will be a full VAR implementation. But because of the Scottish football of finances, they can only afford the VAR light, when the Championship probably could do, but they have to run the same things like the Premier League do in at Edgery Park, where the EFL might have their own version where they need to have more than a former more assistants to manage it. So it's a difficult one at the moment, how they could implement it if they could do. So some parts, like what Steph said, I can see it in some parts, yes, but but not everything. Like the probably like the same offside is going to be probably the issue where they have to put more camera play. For Championship clubs, it's a cost measure issue.
Or what we could do is do what we've started to do in the FA Cup: use automated offside, so the decision's given quicker.
Yeah. It's an interesting what you're doing, Mike. I think the VAR will probably come to the Championship, and I can see it might be sooner than later, because it depends on one thing. Because this current deal with Sky is a long term. If they get a bigger deal, a global deal, which what some of the Championship owners want, then I can see it could be implemented.
Yeah, because there is scope for it. Because and I know the playoff finals are different, obviously, because it's at Wembley. It's a stadium that's got VAR installed. You can use it and such and such. But it has been used, and I think there's more reasons to have it than to not have it. If you look, for example, the playoff final last season between Sheffield United and Sunderland, obviously you have that Harrison Burrows goal that was disallowed, and obviously because that was disallowed, it then meant Sunderland went on to win the game. So I think that it's one of those things. But I can certainly, don't get us wrong, I think VAR isn't perfect. As me and Carl have seen this season, VAR does have its own issues, but I still think that the standard of officials in the division just needs to be improved. And I think there's sometimes blatantly obvious decisions that continually get missed, which I think is ridiculous. But look, I'll say refs, of course, is not an easy job. I wouldn't want to do it myself, and I can completely sympathise with that. But yeah, I just think there's scope to have it in there. But so I can see. So to bring about Norwich Southampton, yes, I think Southampton fans would probably argue if VAR had been there, then that goal gets disallowed. That was the 2-1. Yeah, sorry, the winning goal. So I keep thinking it ended 3-1 for some stupid reason. But no, that was obviously the winning goal. If that gets disallowed, then the game can swing one way or another. But again, not to take that away from Norwich and how big a win that was for them in the relegation scrap.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, do you know what? If you see me while I was looking at before, I'm kind of smiling with glee or smoke because my partners and Jessica, her team, which is losing Missouri, her beloved Kansas City Chiefs have just been eliminated from the playoff contention after the loss to the LA Chargers. So I'm kind of happy the dynasty is over for now because I couldn't hate more of the Chiefs more than because they got Taylor Swift and who's going to be married to Travis Kelce. So it's made me more happy with that one. So yeah, I feel more prouder. But let's get back onto the championship actually, and let's go to the Bet365 Stadium. And actually, Ben Pearce has scored his first goal in 6 years after Stoke City ended their 3-game losing streak after winning 2-1 against Swansea City as well. And what a strike, guys!
His goal finish
as well. And I have to admit, Stefan, that win, and Sober Thomas has been one of the best players outside the big teams in the championship this season.
Is this Sober Thomas you're on about?
Yeah.
What was it they got him for? Like £700,000?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Fair play, Mark Robbins.
The job Mark Robbins has done at Stoke since taking over is unbelievable. It's night and day. And again, Stoke are one of the teams that are surprising me because last season they were languishing down where the Norwiches and the Sheffield Wednesdays are. They were just hovering above the dotted line for safety. We managed to stay safe. And this season they've just kicked on in such a way that they could be involved in the playoff picture as well. And I know we've not seen Stoke in the Premier League since I think it's 2016, 17, something like that. Maybe even 2015. But I reckon if they were to come up, they would stay up no problem under Mark Robbins. They wouldn't be the proverbial yo-yo club that Norwich City have been in the past years when they've come up and gone straight back down and come up and gone straight back down. It would be nice to see the promoted clubs, whoever it may be this season besides Middlesbrough and Coventry, being able to sustain themselves in the next level. And whether that's Stoke, Preston, Hull, Millwall, it would just be nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael, again, Swansea, they after Victor Mercer's got his first couple of wins, but a bit of a setback for them.
Obviously, I know Annie's got the feeling that the squad's a bit better than they're kind of showing, isn't it? So I do kind of understand that. In terms of this particular game, arguably not, because like Stoke for once this season have actually shown something competent, which is really what they should have done for years and years. So, yeah, I mean, obviously they went 2-0 down before getting back into the game. I think that, if I'm right, I think Swansea have won a couple of key games recently. I think, did they beat Oxford and Portsmouth, I want to say, recently?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you could say it's a bit of a setback for so. In terms of this game, no, but I think you could say for Swansea this season, I think they could be a setback in that they would want better than this. And if you remember, like, there's a couple of times when, like, say, under Russell Martin's last season at Swansea, last season in particular as well, there was a couple of times when Swansea kind of had a meh season, but then picked up right at the end, and then left a bit of optimism, and then didn't build on that for the next season. So, in terms of this fixture, no. Generally, in terms of them wanting a bit better, I would say, yeah, probably a bit.
Yeah, fair enough then. We've got a couple games left to go. Let's go and look at Fratton Park, and a really good win for Portsmouth after being 1-0 down against Blackburn to win 2-1. Cal Lance got his first goal, and also as well in his first goal, and also Barrett getting the winner as well. Abe Barrett's first goal for Portsmouth as well. And again, Michael, a good win for Pompey, which they needed because they needed to end a 3-match losing streak. But does that help them with the relegation battle, because they're now 2 points behind Blackburn?
Massive. There would have been 5 points behind Blackburn going into the game, 1-0 down. I think it was 1-0 down at half time, I believe. So of course that's huge for them. And obviously we know that there was, to some, rightly or wrongly, there was some questions being asked of John Mousinho. So I think it was huge for them to end up turning it around. And like I said, Fratton Park needs to be a fortress. We've said before, Fortress Fratton, in other words. If you cast your minds back to last season, for example, when it was Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United and Sunderland, it was only Sunderland, I think, who went and won at Fratton Park. So it should be a hard place to go, I think, but I think to turn it around and come back to win, I think is really important. I think Portsmouth just need to start getting a bit of a run together and trying to make sure they don't go down as a result of second season syndrome, which can happen. So, yeah, but it was huge. That was vital for... If Portsmouth had lost that game, then I think it would have been very bit worrying for them. But to turn it around was really important. And yeah, so 2 points behind Blackburn. They've got a game in hand, obviously, having with the Charlton one, obviously being sort of called off last week due to, obviously, Norman's tragic passing. So when that game gets replayed, we'll wait and see how that sort of pans out, really. Blackburn, I can't make my mind up on. Blackburn seem to have a really good performance in them, but then they all of a sudden drop a clanger. You know what I mean? Like, they were 1-0 up in this game, in a game that they would view as pretty important. And I think they've conceded quite a few goals from winning positions, haven't they? So, for example, recently they obviously were 1-0 up against Ipswich, conceded a goal in stoppage time. 1-0 up here, threw away 3 points. I don't know. Blackburn's the one I can't really make my mind up about, but for Portsmouth, it's definitely a huge win. And it was one that was needed.
Fair enough as well. That's a fair point as well. Got a couple games left. We've got Coventry and Bristol City left to discuss, and also Wrexham against Watford. And yeah, so we don't have too much to do, actually. Let's discuss Coventry and Bristol City. Like I said, I know Annie went to the game yesterday, and Mason Evans-Clark scored his 9th goal in the campaign to give Coventry City 3 points. Stefan, this was a very close game after, really Bristol City had its chances, but Coventry got back to their winning ways, finally.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was no surprise that Coventry were going to get back to winning ways. Yeah, Bristol City, or the Robins, had quite a few chances. They were actually very unlucky not to score first in the game, I would say. We were incredibly unlucky on more than one occasion not to score. But it puts Coventry back to winning ways after their, let's just call it, blip, because that's really all it's been for them all season. I think they've only lost like 3 games in the whole entire season, which is magnificent up to this point. And I think over this period, they'll go on another one of them, maybe 5, 6, 7 unbeaten runs and strengthen their position at the top, but take away nothing from Bristol City. They gave it a good go. They gave it as best they could. But ultimately, Coventry's just too strong at this stage of the season, I'm afraid.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And like I say for Michael, again, Coventry, the gap's now cut to at least by 5 points now, but they needed to win that, especially in the last couple of games after losing to Ipswich, in the manner of defeat at Ipswich Town. But they had to, then get the draw at Preston. They needed to come back with a win after their good run they had.
Yeah, I think for Coventry, I've always said for a couple of Coventry fans that I speak to that there is going to be a wobble at some stage. That is going to happen. But the big thing is the most they go without winning is 2-3 games. So they've obviously lost 3-0 away at Ipswich. Okay, I know there was controversy around some of the refereeing decisions at Ipswich, but I think losing away at one of the year one parachute teams, well, it's not fine, but it happens. That can happen at any given point. think Preston's the one that would disappoint them more, because obviously a draw at Preston this season I think is generally a good result, but the fact Preston had 10 men makes it, I mean, it could be 2 points drop, and Coventry were in front in that game as well. So with that in mind, they needed to win this game, I think. And I think that, I mean, obviously we talk about Bristol City, obviously they had a goal ruled out in the first half, Sinclair Armstrong. But obviously, you know, Mason Clark ends up proving to be the difference from a ball into the box. So yeah, I think I think for Coventry it was nervy, but remember Bristol City, contrary to what Annie might sometimes say, are not slouches. You know, they're not the worst team, far from it. They generally will give teams a good run out, and I think it was very important. I think for Coventry, you are right, to bounce back from the last 2 games with a win. And another big thing as well that we've got to mention, we often say, 90 points is usually the target you try and aim for if you want to get top 2. Coventry have passed halfway there now. They're on 47 points. So again, it keeps saying the more points they get now, the more of a leeway that they'll have later on in the season. So it was very important for Coventry. And again, these are the type of, and if Coventry get promoted in the top 2 particularly, or even win the league, these are the type of games that do it, where even if you're not at your best, you manage to grind out a 1-0. Obviously, for example, if I compare it to, say, Sheffield United last season, part of the issue I had was that they were doing that nearly every week, and every week it's a problem. But if you do it every so often, it's not a bad thing. And I think Coventry, I mean, look, they've proven that they don't score many goals. I mean, come on, they've only scored 52 goals, you know, in 21 games. obviously that's a joke. But yeah, Coventry score goals. But the good thing is, Lampard has got within them that they can win games 1-0 and win games in being tight. And they've had setbacks as well. You look when Middlesbrough away, they were 2-0 up, came back to 2-2. It would have been very easy for Coventry to fold then, but they didn't. So this is where I think the more this happens, the more you sort of start looking at Coventry. And I think, was it the 12 points clear of third? And I think if you said that to Coventry fans, I think there would have been an absolute dreamland. And it's funny how Ant has just mysteriously done a Homer Simpson and disappeared into the hedge and just
Yeah,
gone.
he has done. Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. Actually, well, Leicester probably did Coventry a favour yesterday by beating Ipswich. But yeah, so no, for Coventry after the last 2 games, it was definitely important and good to win a game ugly if they had to.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Let's go to the last game, especially for Stefan and Ollie Rathburn making his second appearance of the season after scoring the equaliser in Wrexham's 2-2 draw against Watford. Josh Windass scored in the 21st minute. Emmanuel Diomba scored in the 30th minute, and Mamana scored in the 42nd minute. But was this a good point, Stefan, after losing against Hull in the midweek as well, and also you were on a good decent run after getting a couple of draws before then?
Yeah, we were on a 9-beaten game unbeaten run up until Wednesday, thanks to Hull for ending that run for us. But no, it was definitely a very, very good point yesterday. I watched the game basically from start to finish. And when Watford went 2-1 up, I thought, oh no, here we go again. But it's been the Wrexham way this season. Just not to give up and just to dig in and grind out points apart from Wednesday. But let's just put that in the back burner. It's been the Wrexham way to dig in and grind out points. And I thought the goal from Josh Windass and the pass from Matty James to make that goal was just sublime. And the way Josh Windass took that pass and shot was absolutely amazing on the half volley. And then obviously Watford scored the 2 goals. But Ollie Rathbone, right at the last, before the game went crazy, before I had that crazy spell right at the end with Javi Grazia getting sent off, Ollie Rathbone's goal again on the volley was amazing.
Yeah, very good finish outside the box, wasn't it? Very accurately hit.
Yeah.
Very, very accurately hit. And then you had that crazy 6 minutes where Javi Grazia gets sent off, but he has to walk all the way around to where the dugout is, right? So he was just walking at normal pace, so he almost took up the whole entire 6 minutes of the allotted injury time allowed to get off the pitch. and then we still had a free kick that needed to be taken.
The referees are not thought that through, actually, especially at the race course ground. What do you do if you get set up? How do you walk all the way around? Yeah.
Now, the law in Scotland is whatever side you're near, that's the side you go off at.
Yeah, that's true.
Regardless of whether you're at your home fans or the away fans, whatever side you're near it, you go off. I think for stadiums like the racecourse, where it has a very long way to get to the dugout, you should go off the side that you're near it, because that was just a complete farce. I've never seen anything like it.
No, yeah, that's true. Especially because the race course crowd had to move dugouts when they got promoted to the championship. Yeah, it's very
And when the new Cop stand is finally built in 2027-28, the dugouts are going to be moved into that stand, because that's where the tunnel's going to go.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's
So.
going to be moved again.
Yeah. I think there needs to be a law like they do in Scotland to have that place in England. Some of that down for the English leagues.
Yeah.
It needs to be absolutely as well.
I mean, not for all stadiums, because you've got stadiums like Middlesbrough and Coventry, where they're nice, big, sort of renowned stadiums. But for the small stadiums like Kazam, Racecourse, even Deepdale, have that law in place where no matter what side you are, just go off of that side, and then we can continue with the game.
Absolutely as well. Michael, what do you give into the game yesterday? A really good draw for Wrexham.
Yeah, of course. When you get an equaliser in the last minute to nick a point, it's always massive. And again, when I feel like I've said this a few times, but if you look at just the I mean, I'm not saying I think Wrexham will get playoffs. I still think a top half finish, for example, I think would represent a decent season for them this season, just in the context that they've. Because I know Stefan, I believe, likes Wrexham. I could be wrong. I hope I've not.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
I think so.
I like Disney FC. I'm not
Disney FC. I like it. No, I think top half finish for Wrexham would be decent progress, considering they've obviously come up from National League, League Two, League One. It's a big jump to make over a few years. So I think for Wrexham, I think it's definitely important to have got something. Obviously, they scored, they took the lead, so it was disappointing to let Watford get into a winning position. But to get something at the end, it's always important. Of course it is. Add to the points tally. And Watford, I mean, what's that? I don't think there's any point in me saying anything about Watford, because they just do Watford things, don't they? There's one game they can play exceptionally well, and then another one they can drop points in the 90th minute and whatever it is. So Watford strike me as a phrase I've used a couple of times, which is peak championship. It's basically peak Watford. But no, for Wrexham, solid point in the end, I would say, given the position they were in.
The thing for Wrexham this season is purely just to consolidate the championship status, no matter what position it is. As long as we're in the division for next season, and even the season beyond that, we can consolidate and we can build going forward. I think there's plans afoot in January to sign even more players, but I think the budget's been slashed from nigh on 40 million to, I think, a meagre 10 or 20 million. So it's been halved by Rob Mack and Mr. Reynolds. But we've just secured a new minority investor as well in this CES or CEA Sports company in America as well. So it'll be interesting to see what resources they bring to the Wrexham table as well to keep that Welsh dragon firing in the championship.
Just out of interest, I've got a question for Stefan, and I'm very keen to know this. How's Callum Doyle played?
For me, Callum Doyle, he's been 50-50 because he's been out injured. He's had a few injuries. He's coming back. I mean, I've changed it now because I got them promoted in EAFC 25. So I put another transfer takeover in and stole more money from the FIFA coffers. But when I was in Championship, I virtually had the team that's playing now. For me, Callum Doyle can play hot or he can play cold. He can have good games or he can have bad games or mediocre games. Yesterday, I thought his game was in the middle. I thought his defensiveness could have been a bit better against Watford, considering where he signed from for Rex for Wrexham and who he's worked under in the past. I thought with that experience coming in, I thought great, but I'm actually not sure on Callum Doyle. I don't know if he'll be there long term, like maybe 3 or 4 seasons, and I think he could be away perhaps in the summer transfer
Maybe.
window, but I'm not. I'm 50-50. I'm on the fence, and I don't like to be on the fence, but I am.
I think Callum Doyle. Yeah, it is a big one against Swansea. I've just realised Swansea Rex. That's Swansea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's,
thought
it's
so.
a Welsh derby,
Well,
yeah.
there we go then. We'll see what
Coming up.
happens. I'm sure Stefan's looking forward to that one.
Mhm.
What I was going to say with Callum Doyle, I think because the thing is he's obviously that's an interesting one on Parky actually. But before Stefan answers that, I think with Callum Doyle because I think we had him on loan in League One and he was really good. I think by that point when we had him, he was like 17. But even early on, you could tell why he came through City's academy, and then
Yeah.
obviously he's had loan experiences at Coventry, at Leicester, at Norwich, and then now he's with you guys. I think Callum Doyle will prove to be really good. I think if you give him the time to do, I think he's got a lot of experience at this level. I think once he adjusts and settles in properly, I think you'll see
Yeah.
a really good defender there personally. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
I hope so. I hope so. And on Doug's comment, does Parky survive the season? Well, I've got all the Wrexham channels on YouTube, and some of them are saying he doesn't, but some of them are saying he does. Personally, for me, over the 5 seasons he's been in charge at Wrexham, from National League to get them up to the Championship, he's done a sterling job. Now, as we all know, in the Championship with previous clubs, for me, he's not really a proven Championship manager. Maybe League One, League Two certainly, but I know that Championship level he's not proven, and the results this season so far have been indifferent. We've had a fair few losses. It's going to take none with that, but we seem to be doing now, apart from Wednesday night, we seem to be doing win, draw, win, draw, win, draw. And if it continues like that, we should be okay. But I don't know if Parky will have a job at the end of the season. And with Wrexham or Disney FC being a very attractive prospect to managers, that managerial merry-go-round, you could have your pick of what managers to bring in for
I'll tell
that.
you what, right? Because I think long term, I think Parky's done brilliantly for Wrexham.
Yeah.
I know. I'm saying this as someone who wasn't particularly keen on him at Sunderland, but like he has done well. You can't ignore that. And I don't want to hear this, and I'm sure Stefan will agree. Oh well, he's had the money to spend. That's a load of nonsense. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't have gone down to League One. If that was the case, then in terms of money, we would have gone up from League One in the first season. We spent £4 million on Will Grigg. So if that's the case, we should have gone up the first season. Yep, Carl, laugh at it all you want. It's really funny looking back at it.
I know it's so funny. That's why I'm
It
trying
is
to.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. And I equally, in equal measure, I both love and hate Freed from Desire because of that man. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is more money does not guarantee success. You still have to go out. You have to go out and set the team up. You have to go out and get the team cohesion, chemistry, and do the job. So, and with that, by the way, comes more pressure. So Parky has delivered for Wrexham to get them from what was it, National League to Championship in 4 seasons. That is impressive. That's the first time I think, or at least in ages, if not ever, back to back to back has been done. That you can't take away from that. But I do question. But I did say that I think for this season, if your aim is to consolidate, you'll probably be all right. But I think longer term, you probably need someone better because ultimately, I imagine the aim ultimately is to get to the promised land, which is get to the Premier League. So I don't think Parky will be good enough for that. But
No.
it doesn't mean he hasn't succeeded. You can say, Parky, thanks very much for what you've done. You're forever a legend at Wrexham, and you're part of our legacy. We just want to go in a different direction. There's
Of
nothing
course.
wrong with that. That can happen. So, I tell you what, here's a gut feeling, and this is really random. If he doesn't get a job by then, when Parky leaves, Steve Cooper to Wrexham.
Oh, I would actually take Steve
I've
Cooper.
got that's got Steve Cooper to me written all over
If
it.
he does well, he's doing a cross in Scandinavia. That's interesting. Yeah.
Wrexham's a bigger prospect anyway. It's fine.
I would actually take Steve Cooper on the job he done at Nottingham Forest, getting them from where we were to the Promised Land, consolidating in the Promised Land with Nottingham Forest. I would take him for Wrexham easy.
And by the way, he would be backed, wouldn't he? That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Anyone who gets the job at Wrexham would be backed.
Anyone that gets a managerial job at Wrexham, whether it's Parky, Cooper, Brendan Rodgers, whoever, they will have the financial backing to implement their own style of team, their own style of play, their own style of everything, really. They're basically going into a job where backing is no object because of who owns Wrexham and because of all the minority investment that's coming in as well. With the Allen family and this new group coming in from America, the investment in Wrexham because of Welcome to Wrexham, and that's why I like Wrexham, and I make no bones about that, along with loads of other fans from around the world. The club is just going to go from strength to strength. And I totally agree with Michael. I think we're going to be all right. We're going to consolidate in the next season and the season after, or maybe even next season, we can make the push for a playoff place.
Yeah, agree as well.
Because I don't think it can be done in one season. There's no way.
No way at all. Oh, Doug's giving some 2 questions for us as well. Next manager to be sacked. That's a good question. The only manager I could see that gets sacked is probably what's going on at Blackburn with the Ishmael. That's the only thing I could think of. Any other manager I can't think of in the bottom half will get the sack.
I was going to say Blackburn as well. Although, did I say it and they're already down? But the Sheffield Wednesday chap.
With Pedersen, yeah.
I think Blackburn with Ishmael is a good shout.
Yeah. I just see that's more of a shot than Sheffield Wednesday. I think Sheffield Wednesday will just back Pedersen, especially, when the new owners come in, they're going to back him anyway. If he so no doubt. Yes, Doug, me and Stefan were discussing this before we got on air about that, and we said, especially what happened was counted the loss into the playoff final relegation against yourselves against Leicester. It's surprising how they've gone to the downfall and out the bottom of the Scottish Championship. They could go down to Scottish League One. It's not surprising. Him and Callum Davison have now lost their jobs.
No, of course, Callum Davidson at Queen's Park as well. Yeah, totally forgot about that one. Well, mind, Cal.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because that goes to show, and this is Michael's pointing over. Parachute teams in Scotland, when you go down, don't do anywhere near as well as parachute teams in England, south of the border. And that is purely because, in my eyes, I don't know about Carl, but in my eyes, you can see where the financial backing is in terms of UK football.
Yeah.
The financial backing is totally 100% plunged into the English pyramid. It's almost like Scotland get the mediocre scraps from from said table, and the golfing class is there to see when Hearts play a team like, I don't know, Birmingham or Millwall in a pre-season friendly. Even in pre-season friendlies, English Championship teams are so much superior to Scottish ones. It doesn't surprise me that the manager of Ross County will get the sack, because I was heavily expecting Ross County to bounce back up, whether it be
Yeah,
through the
same.
playoff situation or straight back up. I was not expecting a, a Premier League parachute team to be bottom of the championship.
No, neither did I as well. That's absolutely surprising how where they are at this state of the season as well. So I just can't see who's going to come in and take over. I do not know. It's in there to what's going to happen as well. Actually, yeah, it really is. Right, let's get onto the table in the championship. So, Preston North End were the only team with the biggest move to move to third, while Stoke and Leicester, despite they got the wins, they're still outside the playoffs, just behind Hull City. At the bottom of the table, Norwich, despite they're still in the relegation, so they get win pops with, and now just a point ahead of Oxford with Sheffield United still on -9 points. They play against Derby County tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. live on Sky Sports Football as well. So, yeah, that is all there is from us. I won't be on next Sunday as I will be on working shift. So, hopefully, we'll have Annie back along with Michael and hopefully with Stefan as well next Sunday at the same time at 8 p.m. as well. And also, the Saturday show will be on at 11:30 as well with Stefan and Reese as well. Like I said, keep an eye on the festive period, because the Saturday show will be live. As well on the 27th of December, as well as the championship view the next day on the 28th. And before we finish off, could Nathan Jones be in trouble? I don't think he is,
I
though.
don't think so.
No,
I think
no.
he's made for Charlton in a way at the right place. So we spoke about them earlier this season. I think it's the right fit for Nathan Jones. Other than their mentality, especially at the Valley.
I think that will be where the season gets decided for them. I think if you're gonna, I think with Nathan Jones, yeah, I think unless they crumble into the bottom three and don't look like getting out of it, then I could maybe see it. But that's the only way I could see him being in trouble. But it's a fair question from what Doug's saying, but I don't think he will be. I think
Yeah.
he'll be all right for now.
Yeah.
He's safe. His job's safe.
Yeah, absolutely. His job to say as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much, always, and then thank you very much everyone for watching it as well, for messaging as well. We'll see. You'll see. Well,
Thanks very
most of the guys get here next Sunday. I'll be back on after Christmas as well. So, like I said, if you have a good Christmas and as well. Well, since I'm not going to be on, but I will see you guys on the 27th, on the 20th, and the 28th as well. During the Saturday show and the championship review as well on the festive period weekend. So have a good Christmas. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you very much. From us, it's bye from Stefan and Michael, and from me, bye from us.
Bye.